Hey guys, Chris here with Work to Game, and we finally have some news on why Dragon Quest XI is delayed for the Switch. It's kind of weird. So it's the weekend of Pax East 2018, and we're seeing all sorts of panels and information come out, and Dragon Quest XI is no exception. The Echoes of an Elusive Age producer, Hokuto Okamoto, came out and said to GameSpot, it's true that the Nintendo Switch version is under development at this moment in time, and he's talking about the delay and why there is one. Specifically with regards to the development, the game was developed on Unreal Engine, not a shocker. But the version for Unreal Engine needs to be updated, I suppose, in order to support the Switch. In that sense, the development is still expected to take a very long time. It's a long ways out. And so I suppose in there kind of says that he's not exactly discussing technical details, and maybe he can't, and maybe this isn't the right forum for that, but it's an interesting, I guess, thing to blame the Unreal Engine, and it makes you wonder just how close to production are they? Are they ready to port it, or they ported it and they're running into issues? They really haven't gone into that. So he said they asked why they didn't consider holding it back to launch alongside the PS4, which is a question that I think we've all kind of wondered, why you wouldn't launch those at the same time. Is that something that Sony put on you, or is that something that Nintendo wasn't willing to pay for? And he says that they had thought about slowing down the PS4 launch to pair it with the Switch launch, but decided against it because they didn't want to wait as long as they think the Switch is going to take. Of course, we did consider releasing the PS4 and Switch version around the same time, if that was even a possibility, but right now the outlook for the Switch version is still unclear at this moment in time. The Japan team, they wanted to release Dragon Quest 11 and bring it overseas as soon as possible for fans overseas, which is why they proceeded with the PS4 and Steam versions at this time. Now, the only reason I think this is interesting is because if we back way up to February of last year, 2017, the Nintendo 4 was confirmed to be using Unreal Engine 4, and Miyamoto said they have it, quote-unquote, mastered. And so Shigeru Miyamoto was unbelievably excited about what this meant. So here's a quote from him to Polygon. Regarding our software development environment, third-party developers who are making software for PC can now easily adapt that software to work on our platform. In the current development environment, I'd say it would take less than a year for them to port a PC game to Nintendo's Switch. That ease of development has also been felt by Nintendo's internal developers. So This is what they claimed last year, a year ago, which means that if this was already under works, it should be out by now. Then you go on, and on 4/14, right, so a couple months later, it was confirmed that there was 20 titles using Unreal 4 for development of the Switch. Epic Games representative Takayuki Kawasaki told Automaton in a recent interview that unfortunately there were not any Unreal Engine titles at launch, but in late March, Snake Pass, which was one of the titles playable, launched in America and Europe, and at the Nintendo Switch presentation there were titles such as Shin Megami Tensei. Now, in Japan there are about 20 titles being developed that use Unreal Engine, so I think they'll be announced gradually from here on. Now, one of those titles that was being worked on was presumably Dragon Quest XI. So we don't know if this is the only thing being confirmed, but it is interesting that they said that everything was going great and they had all this confirmation, and now we're seeing this game is delayed and this is what they're blaming. And so if that really is true, if it really is an Unreal Engine issue, are we going to see other delays? Is this kind of the beginning of at least some titles going through the same delays we saw with past consoles, where on the Wii U we felt just underrepresented by the rate at which they released third-party content, and just the sheer lack of third-party content that the Switch has promised to fix. Now, this isn't going to stop everybody, and we know that because we're getting confirmed titles on a regular basis, both first and third party. So we know that not everything is stopping on the Switch, but it is good to note that anybody who is developing with at least this version of Unreal Engine 4 is running into delays. And so if those are really waiting on the Unreal team, there really isn't anything the developers seem to be able to do as far as confirming a timetable for which we can expect to see games like Dragon Quest XI. So this is just interesting news to come out of PAX East 2018. If we get anything else, we'll continue to post it right here on Work to Game. My name is Chris. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, Chris, your shirt's pretty looking.
You know, honestly, it doesn't have Work to Game anywhere on it, but I like to support the channel.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know, you can do that and also have a good looking shirt.
I don't really want that shirt. You think maybe it could be a different shirt? Well, cool. I think I'm going to click on one of the links somewhere around here, and I'm going to go see what we got.
Hello. It's really, really, really good.
You guys have a great day.
Take care.
You probably have a pretty shirt on.